So here's the cool thing that I've been doing lately. I've been trying to see if I can accurately flip crypto. So like invest in
Yeah.
something, pull it out 2 3 days later, and make some money. So I on Sunday I put an order for Matic, Polygon Matic,
Mm.
for $1.55, and that was on Sunday. So I don't know if you keep up with Matic. The current price is $2.05 in just
Mm.
4 days. Unfortunately,
Wow.
I sold it last week, or I sold it yesterday or the day before for, I think it was 1.95 was my profit. Uh,
Wow.
so so we got 20% returns in 3 days, which is kind of crazy. Kamea, have you experienced like trying to flip crypto?
Yes, I have definitely tried to flip crypto. I remember one time I was just trying to flip crypto before, but gas fees were so high. But
Uh,
sorry, I was trying to flip Ethereum because it was like I was just trying to sell a bit of it. Like I had $100 worth of it, and it went up like 30%. This was like a year ago, and gas fees were like $100. So I would
wow.
spend all of my money trying to get out my money. So the whole thing with gas fees, volatility, just trying to time the market, I just think that like it's just a trade off of time. Like, so if you're gonna need to do it, if you want to flip crypto, you're gonna need to have quite a bit of money to be able to make like pretty successful
Yep.
gains and to have a chance at being successful. And um Ben, do you know anything about charting? Do you like look at charts to see what the crypto looks like?
Uh, Elaborate.
Oh, like do you draw trend lines by looking at the thing, looking at the different types of candle patterns? Do you do that?
Kind of. I don't look at them too specifically, but I do look at the general, the most basic chart available, and just seeing. I like to look at my big thesis with all crypto is that for the next few years, it's always going to keep being very volatile, but every time it's
Mm.
going to peak a little bit higher and then fall a little bit higher as well. And I guess I was right with Matic, because last week it went up to 194, and then it
Yeah.
went down to 1.55, and then it went back up to 2, and then I think it's going to go back down to 1.55 to 1.6 around that time. So this is the
Mm.
most basic form of charting. Yes, I did look at those.
Nice. So whenever I try, I don't usually flip crypto if I'm being honest, because in reality when you're looking at the big picture, we're both kids and we don't really have that much money to like
Yeah,
experiment, whereas people with a lot of money are able to just pool from their big pot of money. They're able to like throw in $500,
yeah.
test it out. If they lose it, no big deal because they're a whale. And the thing is that like gas fees really restricts me from doing a lot of transactions,
Mhm.
like, and also there's like a government tax that needs to be paid every time you make a profit in crypto, like a
Yeah.
super big profit, like over like $10,000. And if you make a losing trade, you're still gonna owe money to them. Like if you lost
Oh
money, you're
wow.
still gonna need to pay the money, which is crazy. Which is why I I honestly, if you're really good at flipping, you do you. I'm not an investment advisor, but my whole strategy is just
Hold.
to hold. Exactly, that's exactly what I do. And I always look into the future. Like I
Yeah.
invested in this cryptocurrency like $250, and I staked it, which is essentially like a
Okay,
savings
taking out.
account where you earn interest. This one like earns like over 10% interest every year,
Oh wow.
and I staked it for 8 years, and I'm not going to touch it for the next 8 years. So
Yeah.
when I'm 20 years old, I'm going to see if that actually worked. But that's why I love holding. Just like for example, for the Matrix NFTs that we did, you can
Yep.
see that they're being sold. People are offering like $500, which is already a lot more. That's already
Oh
10
yeah.
times more than people paid for it. Not including gas fees, because I bet a lot of people tried using ETH and then they just got destroyed by gas fees. So a 10x is like a lot. Like compared to the returns that you get with some savings account, it's like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
0.02%
Point zero
sometimes.
zero two or so.
And they like some people are like, oh, it's super high, 0.3%. And I'm just like, you can find some cryptocurrencies that you
Oh
can
yeah.
stake for like a couple years and you can like make a lot of money. So my point is, the ones who make a lot of money in crypto are in two groups. Either they hold or they build a project that they can make money off of.
Yeah.
So like Vitalik, for example, he made quite a bit of money from Ethereum because he made that entire platform himself back in 2015. Whereas people which have like the biggest holders of Ethereum made money by holding it. Like I saw this meme where it's like, dang, I am so mad I sold my Bitcoin at 0.02 and now it's at $8. And that was in 2016. Imagine what they if they imagine one day they just look at Bitcoin randomly one day and now it's at like
Oh yeah.
56,000 per Bitcoin, which is absolutely crazy. And that's why, Ben, when are we gonna start our crypto project? That would be pretty awesome when we do that.
That would be really awesome. Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about the Matrix project real quick. So I
Yeah,
know we've been hyping that up for 1-2 weeks now,
yeah,
uh,
quite a bit.
and it was an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. Um,
Yeah.
Kamea, give me your. So they had a queue where you were randomly assigned a place in line. Essentially, Kamea was number 3,000. I was number 35,000. So we both have very different stories here. Kamea, what was your point of view with everything?
All right. So, I got up around 8 o'clock my time, maybe 7:30, and I was just looking at this project because I wanted to like spend most of my day looking at it. And I woke up to the Discord server being like spam. People were like, "Oh my gosh, we're so hyped for this and all this stuff." People were so excited. And then the time for queuing came. And then I have to say I got relatively lucky to
Very
get number
lucky.
3,000. If I didn't get number 3,000, I would have probably been mega wrecked, but um my essentially my experience, I got in, I was waiting for about an hour. They had to pause it a couple times because I think
Yep.
the old limit was 25, but the Discord server was like revolting. They were just like, bro, this is such a scam, I'm not going to be able to get any, everyone's going to get 25 and I'm going to like have zero
Yeah.
left, like so they had to pause the queue to fix everything and only make it 5 per day, which I'm kind of sad because I like prepared for like more than
Oh
5,
yeah.
but um,
Yeah.
still a lot of people were super mad. They said this was the most whack NFT release. And a part of me agrees with them because if you're like looking at them, if you got into this like a month or two ago and then you get a queue like number 60,000 for all your hard work and you've been weighing this
Oh,
all month,
that's
it's a bit unfair. Like
yeah.
for a
It
lot
is.
of these people, a lot of these people got so mad that they didn't get any. So they literally bought early number for like thousands of dollars. They would literally
Yep.
spend all that money because they're just like, I spent all my time for this. I'm gonna get one no matter what. Like somebody I saw in the chat, all these people selling their places in line for like they're like number 200 in place or 2,000, and someone sold their place in line. They were number like 5,000, which is I could have probably sold it for more. They were number 5,000. They sold it for one ETH, a
Wow.
whole ETH for a place in line. That's just so funny. And the other thing is that some people got scammed and they never got their place online. So they essentially got rug pulled, not even in the actual project yet, which is
Ugh.
so funny because the demand for this was so high. And it just shows you that even a successful company like Warner Brothers still struggles with releasing a successful NFT project. So the waitlist essentially went from when I joined, I think the earlier to join, there's less people in. So when you get entered into
Yeah.
the waitlist, you get earlier number. So when I joined, there was like 10,000 people in the waitlist. And then after I got the NFTs, I rejoined. I was number 170,000 in line. So that
That's
means there
nothing.
was like so many people. It's absolutely crazy. So here is one of the biggest lessons: get in early. And at the same time, for this one, it kind of didn't apply. Like, if I'm being honest, it was randomly generated, and
Yeah.
there was probably like a bunch of people that were like that. But I'm also glad that they didn't make the limit 25 because if it was unlimited, there would just be a giant troll that
Oh
probably would
yeah.
spend like
Buy everything.
500,000, yeah, 500,000 just to buy all of them. So, I would like to ask you, Ben. I know you got like a later place. What was it like? What was the Discord server like? What was the Twitter
Yeah.
Spaces like? What was your experience?
All right, let's dissect this. By the way, 100,000 is good. You'll understand why I'm saying that in a second. So I joined same time as you. We were live streaming, and I don't think it was completely random. I think it was somewhat the earlier you clicked it. So
Yeah.
literally, I clicked it though. They showed me exactly what time I clicked it. It was 9:31:04. So I was 4
Mm.
seconds off. But I was number 35,201. That was my number. So
Mm-hmm.
I spent the day, I couldn't wait. So I spent the day just kind of monitoring it um, over the day. I didn't get anything. I saw Kamea's message come in around 2. He got his. And I was just kind of waiting. And then I
Yeah.
had my phone on, throughout the day. And in the Discord, I saw the Discord, people were kind of going crazy as well. Really mad at them for the queue and always being paused and things like that. And then I was number 35,000. Towards the end of the day, there was 100 people left in line. There was 110
Mm.
people left in line. I had 1 minute left remaining. And the line paused. And it was 10:30 p.m. No, it was 9, I think, at that point. It was 9 p.m. And the line paused. And there was 110 people in front of me with 1 minute left to go. And then I went to the Discord. I waited there for an hour and a half, took a shower, got ready for bed, hoping
Mm.
that we could still get it. And then we said that they're pausing it into the next day. So
Yeah.
there was 100 people in front of me to get an NFT, and I stayed up late to try to get this NFT, and they paused it into the next day.
Wow.
So that was a bummer. Next day comes around. I wake up early and try to see if I got it. I didn't. They kept it paused until 3:30 Pacific. They reopened it at 3:45 Pacific, and I finally got my NFTs. I got 5 of them. I think they're all relatively common, but
Nice.
I got 5 of them. I sent it to the wrong wallet. I sent it to my MetaMask wallet instead of with Palm. So
Oof.
I hope that nothing bad happened. I still see my NFTs. I see that it went through, so I hope nothing bad happened. Um, but I got my NFTs. At the end of the day, it's all that matters. I got 5. You got 5 as well. So later in
Yeah.
the day, I joined back to see what number I would get. Or I think it was on
Mm-hmm.
accident. I was guess what number I was.
160,000.
I was number 313,000.
Oh
And
my
there was
gosh.
313,000 people in front of me at that point to try to get
Oh
this
my
NFT.
gosh.
It was,
Wow.
there's 100,000 NFTs out there, and there's like 300,000 people waiting in line. It's ridiculous. And to be honest,
That's
there were many
crazy.
times when it was very very mad at NFTs for making me stay up very late at that point. It was then like 30 something hours that I was waiting for the NFT. But fortunately, at the end of the day, I got an NFT, and I also got one that kind
Yeah.
of looks like me. I'm gonna have that printed out and,
Nice.
and, and put behind me. So that was, at the end of the day, it was all good. But Kamea, do you think the project would have been better if it was first come first serve instead of random?
Yeah. I think there would be a lot less people because when it was random, people got mad that they got early because it's kind of like their fault for not joining early because then they can blame themselves. Instead, everyone
Yeah,
was blaming the bot, the AI that was giving them a random space. And it would have definitely been a lot smoother. There would have been a lot less protesting in the Discord server.
yeah.
And another thing is that my dad got so my dad, he's like the person that gives me some money to buy these NFTs. He's like the person that gives me that, and he
Yeah.
tried buying his own NFTs. But when he joined in, was like he was over 100,000 in line, and he got a
Wow.
notification at 1:27 a.m. And when he was sleeping, so essentially he woke up and then his queue in line was like even more, and it was all sold out. It was all sold out when he was awake. So it was literally like, what are you gonna do? I saw in the chat like some people from Japan were trying to get in. They're like staying up till 3 a.m.
Oh,
trying to get these
yeah,
NFTs. I know, and it's just really just like who really has the time to wait all day, which is
yeah,
why I thought it would be a lot smoother. But there are some like important lessons that I would like to say that I learned about. So, lesson one: the internet is full of infinite information. It's become unlimited. Information has become super common. Whereas like 100 years ago, it was pretty rare to like get information. Whereas like you would need to buy a dance teacher or something, get someone to teach you. Whereas you can just look up how to do this dance online, you'll be done. So what is uncommon though is the desire to learn and act on that information. So literally anyone can access this information, but not everyone takes action on this information.
Yeah.
And so if you really want to be successful in crypto, and yes, you can read everything else. You can read that something got sold for 20 million. You can read that something else got sold for 650,000. But if you don't do anything, you'll never make any gains, or you'll
Yeah.
never make any money. Like my dad always tells me like to ape into the project, which is like a metaphor to like how an ape, whenever it sees a banana, it's always like, ooh, I want this banana. So um my second lesson would be the NFT drop is in the middle of the day. And that is what kind of we're always saying, like, always get in early instead of doing this, but a lot of kids have school during that time of day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we always have to take into account. Like we're really lucky to be able to be
Yep.
homeschooled, that we're able to do this. We have flexibility, whereas some kids have to be in school for 8 hours, and
Oh yeah.
that's the other thing. So we people from school, which is like 99% of like all American kids that go to public
Yep.
school, they wouldn't be able to get into this. And that's why if you have no flexibility, you have like a 0% chance of getting successful in crypto.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember spending like late nights researching about crypto projects, researching about this, trying to become more knowledgeable. And not everyone has time for that. That's why when the December break is coming soon, for most people at school, you're going to have to make the choice between, maybe instead of playing a video game, and I love video games, I love playing video games, but like you could make the choice between the pleasure now or working now as you're younger to potentially not be able to work as hard when you're older. And
Yep.
that's what a lot of people might want to do if they're looking into their future while the December break. Whereas probably not a lot of kids will do that, because I love playing video games, but that's just a thought you should have. Number three, just like I said earlier, big brands like Warner Bros, literally like one of the biggest movie producers in the world, had struggled to success an NFT project. Like they literally got wrecked by all the hate comments they got
Oh
on
yeah.
their things. Like
Oh yeah.
there was over like 10,000 comments on their Twitter post. They're just like,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Warner Bros posted something like, "Oh, look at our NFTs. There's so much hate," and they all got like, so they literally ended up deleting the tweet because it got so much dislikes. Everything, it was like trending for quite a while, and that's why, while you might be like, "Well, all the big like brands are gonna like get all the NFTs, and I'm not gonna be able to get in." In reality, these big brands are having as much struggle as you probably would
Yeah.
making your own NFT. Lesson four: regardless of all the drama that's happening in this project, in reality, the drama was caused over the people wanting to get in.
Yep. The
So
demand.
no matter what happens, you want to get in, because there's no such thing as the perfect crypto project. Like uh Bitcoin has huge problems, and it's like the biggest community, like the big Mount Gox hack that happened a long time ago, and that people lost millions. So please don't be afraid of the problems that happen along the way. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy the gas fees. They're gonna destroy your wallet. Just enjoy, because it's fun just experimenting sometimes.
Yeah.
But all of these experiences that I'm having will help compound over time, and they'll
Oh yeah.
help create more like opportunities for the next one. One opportunity leads to the other. Like maybe one podcast could potentially lead to someone else that we meet, and that other person could lead to someone else. Just like whenever you do your young trap, whenever you interview someone, they could be friends with someone else and you could interview them, and then
Oh
just
yeah.
like how you got like
Yep.
Evan Carmichael on your show and all that stuff. It's just one experience can lead to another. And the other thing is, the more risks you take in life, the less risky those risks become. I
Oh
probably
yeah.
said risk a
Yep.
lot of times in there, but which at first doesn't seem very logical, but it's 100% true. Like how experienced traders know what's going to happen because they've
Yep.
lost hundreds of dollars before.
Yep.
So the next project we see that we really like, I'm gonna definitely ape in, as my dad says. So it's just all about the journey, just like how everyone says, but it's just
Yeah.
honestly fun, just experimenting all the time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The Matrix project. I'm still looking forward to seeing if the super high demand and all the problems are gonna make it
Hmm.
more valuable or less valuable, you know, who knows? But I think it was a good experience at the end of the day,
Yeah.
as long as nothing went wrong with sending it to the wrong wallet. I'll be happy, and I'm very grateful that I'm here on Pacific time, homeschooled. You know, I stayed up till 10:30 waiting on the announcement. You know, I'm lucky. I'm Pacific time. That means that people on Eastern time or Central time are like up at 11, 12, 1 a.m. in the morning, you know,
Yeah.
trying to do the same thing. So honestly, very honestly, I'm very fortunate to not have to have, you know, 10:30 is not early, but it's also not amazingly late either. So
Yeah.
let's talk about our next thing, the Adidas Metaverse. And not
Yeah.
just Metaverse, but Adidas is venturing into co-ops. They're venturing into NFTs. They just bought a plot of land. They're collaborating with Bored Ape Yacht Club. And Nike
Yep.
is also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Metaverse with Roblox and probably NFTs. They have patents to do exclusive stuff with the Nike brand in the metaverse. And do you see this as a competition? Are they trying to both kind of compete to build the best metaverse, the best NFTs, the best collaborations, or do you see it as kind of just both brands trying to venture and explore?
Well, honestly, there's still so many people getting in that I honestly feel like they're just both trying to get in early. Whereas there's not much big competition. Whereas like there's definitely some competition that are people doing it right, like the Sandbox or Decentraland. They're doing it right now.
Yep.
And the thing about Adidas is they're always like on the top of the trends. Like you always see the trendy people wear Adidas. They have those white
Hmm.
Adidas shirts and they have all that stuff. Like they're always on the cutting edge of culture. Like when Kanye West was looking to launch his Yeezys, it was Adidas that went up to him and wanted to partnership with him. Also, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, I love the brand. It's pretty chill. It's nice and it feels just like a natural. It's like one of the first ones. Like bought Bored Ape
There we
merch
go.
right there. Exactly. That just shows I'm a pretty big fan of Bored Apes. So imagine all those Bored Apes wearing Adidas clothes. That will not only make one brand, which is the Bored Apes, which is becoming more and more common, combined with Adidas, which is already known by like hundreds of millions of people.
Oh yeah.
Combining them will make this huge. This will be
Yep.
absolutely huge. Combining these the demand, the hype of Bored Apes with the just brand, like the well-known brand of Adidas, it's probably going to be a huge success. So
Definitely.
this may be another project we need to get into. Like, are these going to start off at like a low price or
Mm,
like it
yeah.
depends because usually Adidas clothes aren't the cheapest and Bored Apes
Oh
aren't
yeah.
the cheapest. So
Yeah.
it could potentially be for like the only like the rich bougie people that are,
Wait,
can afford
here's
it.
an interesting.
But
Yeah. So
mhm,
basically, Adidas launched a co-op that you could claim for free.
mm,
It was the Adidas logo, kind of spinning around, and it was free to
yeah,
claim. I don't know how many of them they had. I think it was a good amount. But there were some people who claimed the co-op, and then they bridged it over. By the way, a little explainer: POAP, proof of attendance protocol. They're kind of like an
yes,
NFT, but they're on side chains, so they're free to claim, and you can claim them by entering a link or a secret code. So it's
hmm,
kind of like an unofficial mini NFT. And so Adidas made
yeah,
it so that anyone, they said probably nothing, and they would put a link, and you can go claim it. I tried to do it. Unfortunately, I was too late. But some people bridged the POAP over to OpenSea, and I don't know how much the gas fee was to do that. They're selling for $400, $500, $600,
wow,
$700. This was a free POAP that anyone could have claimed, and they're selling it for that much money. It's just a show of the Adidas brand, and that people want to be, you know, kind of part of this. Do you think Adidas is gonna make their, you know, NFT sneakers, NFT shirts, NFT pants, metaverse clothing? Is it gonna be super cheap like a Fortnite skin? Is it gonna be the same price as regular Adidas stuff? Is it gonna be super expensive as kind of like a premium metaverse clothing?
Well, I mean, if Adidas really wants to get the maximum success, they're gonna have to price it a bit cheaper for the more people to get in. Of course, there's probably gonna be some that are gonna be like, because in
Yeah.
crypto, there are plenty of generous people that give away money. Like there's people that just join projects. Like one time, I joined a project and they give something called airdrops, which is essentially free money for anyone that joins. And I got a free $100 by just
Wow.
joining this project, which just shows how generous the crypto community is. Like every
Yeah.
fork is free money. Like airdrops on Uniswap was free if you use the platform. So it's a very generous culture inside crypto. So it isn't very surprising at all that those free NFTs are selling for like $500, $600, because it just shows how much people like giving away in crypto. Like the
Oh yeah.
reason that it happens is the real competition is for a user base. The first person to build a big community is the one that's going to get most success. It's not like how it used to be. Like it's how whoever gets the most investors and all that stuff. Now in the digital world, it's whoever has the biggest community will win, backed up with a strong brand, of course. So if you minted your project tokens for free, who cares? Just give it away. Like it's you lose nothing and you gain nothing. And the people are what actually matters. So you're essentially giving away these things for free while gaining an actual community. So it's essentially called the network effect, where the bigger the network, the more people will speak to, and then it's going to go through this domino effect chain. And that's why Facebook always is just like, it grew so much because it recommended, like, your friend is connected with this person. Would you like to send them a request? And it would always say
Yeah.
that. And that's why there's billions of people connecting on Facebook, which is, it's like the old Instagram, but like that's why so many people use Facebook. And the value of a network grows essentially exponentially just like that way.
Yeah, like honestly, the crypto community is so generous. Look at Gary
Yeah,
Vee who gives away five NFT, five NFTs a night.
exactly.
Or look at all these huge projects that you can join the Discord, and there's someone like wanting to give you stuff or airdrops like ETH name service. How everyone
Yeah.
got airdropped some ENS
Hmm.
tokens, and which are worth a few hundred to a few thousand dollars each. So let's get into a really fun topic. They're working on this called NFT ETF. So an exchange traded fund is essentially a, in traditional terms, a group of stocks or commodities or a group of assets that you can buy and trade in
Hmm.
on the market. So I could, make a fund full of gold, and then Kamea could buy
Hmm.
a share of my fund and then sell it, as my fund is good, or buy it if my fund is bad, whatever. They're working on a NFT ETF, basically a group of NFTs or investors that pile in, and that fund buys NFTs, and with the hope that they're going to be a good long-term investment. So I wanted to do something pretty cool. Let's pretend me and you both have $1 million. Listen carefully. Here are the ground
Hmm.
rules. A V friend is $50,000. A, a board ape
Hmm.
back club is $200,000. Maybe that's a little cheap.
Hmm.
We'll do a V friend is 50,000. A board ape back club is 250,000. A CryptoPunk is 500,000. And anything else, if you know the floor price, you can add it in. Kamea, if you had
Okay.
$1 million to invest in NFTs, how would you break it down?
All right. So I can only spend this on NFTs. So this is entirely
Yeah,
just for
yep.
NFTs. $1 million just for NFTs. All right. So first of all, just like you were saying, it's kind of like creating an index of culture. Like everyone knows the culture of like the Bored Apes, which is like such a cool idea because it's essentially like a roster of music artists that you can put onto a label,
Yeah.
and you can sell the label because the names includes all of the artists. So I love that allows you to spread your risk all over individual groups. So that means if one person fails, the other you still have all those other people. So like um I would buy around like 30% of the money or 40% into V Friends because I feel like Gary V, he's always in it. He's like he's an awesome like developer. He's always in it. He does his stuff. He does his
Yeah.
research. He always makes videos, and he's someone that I there's a lot of room to grow because it's still relatively new in the NFT space. And next, I would go 40% as well in Board Ape Yacht Club because just as you see, if 250,000 is the floor price for that, you see that some of them are selling for 20 million. That means you could easily
Yeah.
resell one for 2x gain or 3x gain. And there's still same thing with their new Adidas partnership. There's a lot of room to grow. Whereas CryptoPunks, I'm gonna do a little less. Not, I don't want to spend as much on it. More like 20% of the money to buy just one of them, because it's a bit less volatile in my opinion. Because it's more of an original. It's like the original. I remember watching
Yeah.
a video back in 2018 about CryptoPunks. It's like the original NFT, and it's a little bit less volatile. It's kind of like all the values are already pre-decided. Maybe one can sell for a lot of money, but as you can see, I just see on the OpenSea, they're just not as volatile as they were before. Whereas Bored Ape Yacht Club goes up 1,000%, goes down 1,000%,
Yeah.
whereas CryptoPunks kind of goes a bit less. And what's something I can use as a bet where the energy is. Bet where the energy is, because
Okay.
a lot of the hype and energy is in Bored Ape Yacht Club anymore. It maybe a year ago it was all in CryptoPunks, but now that hype is going on to something like V Friends, Pudgy Penguins, all that stuff, and that's why um I'll have to leave about 5% to some more risky new like NFTs, like Matrix ones,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
smaller NFTs, because the smaller market cap, just this is with crypto and everything, the smaller the market cap, the more volatile it is. So
Yeah.
Bitcoin is becoming slowly less volatile because there's such a huge market cap. Whereas
Yeah.
3 years ago, like fluctuations from 100 to like thousands of dollars was huge. Now it moves from like a couple ten when it moves from $10,000, people are just like, it's what Bitcoin does.
Yeah.
and, and that's why it's slowly becoming more of like a stable. It's bit more stable. It's still pretty volatile. That's why I love stable coins, because it's just a quick way to keep your money at the same price. And I just want to keep that little 5% for an opportunity to grow something into huge. Like if you invested
Yeah.
like $500 into a sandbox NFT, you would probably be
Oh
swimming in
yeah.
money right now, because the sandbox is like one of the most volatile in my opinion, because it's like it fluctuates by so much. I saw it one
Yep.
day up 2,000%, down 500%. And it's just another thing to add is like the metaverse. Like it's becoming more and more scarce for things in the metaverse, just like how in real life there's a lot of land in the world, and that's why everyone was trying to conquer it maybe 500 years ago. And so that's my allocation to that essentially. What would you do if you had all that money?
Yes, I really agree with you on with CryptoPunks and following the energy. So CryptoPunks is the gold standard, the Apple, the Microsofts
Yes.
of NFTs, and the price definitely. I don't think it's even possible. Can you buy a a CryptoPunk? Is there any listed right now?
Mm. I'm pretty sure everyone is just holding them for like a
Yeah.
million years. Like everyone is like, there's literally none for sale. All I see is like last 3.7 ETH, last 146 ETH. They're not for sale. It's just all already sold, recently sold. Like the most recent one sold. I'm just looking at the thing right now. The most recent was like a week ago for CryptoPunk, which is may seem like a short time, but in like NFT terms, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So I think more people are just holding it for a long time because everyone knows CryptoPunks. Everyone knows those pixelated
Yeah.
icons. And yeah, they're just holding it. There's literally none for sale. I'm literally scrolling through all of them. None for
Yeah, I
sale.
would. So to answer the question, I would do. I like CryptoPunks, but I'm a risky person, and I think Bored Ape Yacht Club has a really cool brand. You don't own a
Yes,
Bored Ape Yacht Club yet, and you're wearing the hoodie, and Adidas
exactly.
is partnering with them. It's just Steph Curry has it as his profile picture. It's a really cool brand and a really cool community. I think I would put 50% into Bored Ape Yacht Club, and their sub projects like Mutant Ape Yacht Club and all those kind of things, because I
Mhm.
just love the brand so much and the community behind it. It's like a gut feeling. It's not even explainable, but for me at least, when you look at a CryptoPunk versus a Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Bored Ape Yacht Club just has this shine to it that's like really special,
Yeah,
you know. And then so
exactly.
50% into Bored Ape Yacht Club. Um, just because I think it's a really cool number two. I like going with the number two, number threes. Like Ethereum was kind of the number two to Bitcoin, and
Hmm.
still is. Number two, number threes. Polygon, same thing. So I think I'm pretty comfortable putting 50% of my fund, so
Hmm.
$500,000. I think I can buy two or three, but $500,000 into buying a boarding backup, ape, and then I would put. I'm gonna be really, really just into a few projects. I would put
Hmm.
30% into VFriends because I think Gary Vee can do a really cool thing. But I also think at the end of the day, it's a subgroup of people that are going to be big, Gary
Yeah.
Vee's biggest followers. Whereas the kid on the street might wear a Bored Ape Yacht Club on his
Hmm.
chest on a hoodie, versus I
Yeah.
think it's still a more specific people who are really going to find value in an ambitious angel, you know. So 50% Bored Ape Yacht Club because it's a culture. It appeals to everyone. There's no one that doesn't like it. Like Kylie Jenner wanted to buy one. There's nothing else like it right now, other than CryptoBunks, which is way above the budget we have. So $500,000, 50% into Bored Ape Yacht Club, 30% into buying VFriends, which is 30% of a million is $300,000. So
Yeah.
I can buy 10 VFriends, and be able to go to VCon. I'll take you with me. So 10 VFriends, two or three Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then I would set aside 20% to just invest in the future projects like the Matrix. Be a
Nice.
whale
Yeah.
and just ape into all these huge projects. So that's how I would do it.
Exactly.
50% Bored Ape, 30% VFriends. So number one for the culture, number two because of Gary Vee, and number three just to experiment, have fun, maybe ape into the next CryptoPunks. Um, let's talk about our next thing,
All
and I
right.
think it'll be the last thing for today's episode. And these are about free NFTs. So right now, I only have one,
Hmm.
paid NFT, or I guess five, but
Yeah.
one project of paid NFTs, and that's the Matrix. But I do have a lot of free NFTs, like the Macy's NFTs,
Yeah.
the DC Universe NFTs, and these were all
Mm.
free things that I was able to claim, and I think I have some pretty rare ones as well. Now, Kamea, do you think these free NFTs are going to have value in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, it's kind of like I like to think of it like those McDonald's Happy Meal toys that you get for free for buying a Happy Meal. Some of those sell for thousands of dollars just because you have them from like 80s. And I feel like if you hold for something long enough, like I saw something from my grandma's house. She had like a old model of like a toy car and it's worth like $1,000, which is pretty
Wow.
crazy. And it's kind of like if you have enough culture in something, enough nostalgia, like a Pokemon card, or like it's pretty hard to get like a Nintendo Entertainment System these days because like
Oh
it's
yeah.
the nostalgia. That's why a lot
Yep.
of people try to like buy them because like they love the nostalgia. I think they definitely have the opportunity to. Not every single one will because maybe they don't have enough strong enough brand, not enough hype, not enough community, and it's just like as we were saying, if you just look at all the NFTs are here, you can just see VFriends Bored Ape, their charts of activity. It's just so volatile. Whereas I see
Yep.
the the CryptoPunks, it's all flat and then just a big spike when someone bought
Yeah.
something for 20 million. So my question is here for these NFTs. I have a quick question. Definitely free NFTs have a potential. My question is in the bear market, which is probably gonna happen pretty soon, will all these NFTs suddenly become super cheap, or do you think the communities will be super strong and hold up?
That's a good question. Really good question. I would say I'm pretty comfortable saying that in a bear market, the sorry, someone's walking upstairs. Yeah, this is a really tough question.
Yeah,
I'm pretty comfortable with saying this. I think there will be a very few projects in the bear
yeah,
market that will not be very affected by by the bear market. I think
Mm-hmm.
CryptoPunks is a good example of one. Bored Ape Yacht Club and Mutant Ape. No, maybe not Mutant Ape. Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks. I think CryptoPunks for sure isn't going to be affected because everyone
Mm-hmm.
who owns it are such important figures that understand, this whole
Yes.
movement. I think CryptoPunks is going to survive very easily. I think Bored Ape Yacht Club might go down a few thousand. I think though at the end of the day, it's not going to be cheap. Even at its lowest,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be cheap.
Exactly.
V Friends, V Friends, I think there's a possibility that it does go down. I think Gary Vee's okay with that because he
Mm-hmm.
always talks about he wants to kill everyone who has paper hands or like financially, not physically. He wants to get them out. So I think V Friends, there's a good chance it might go down, but I think it's the second it goes down, it's gonna get snatched up like that. So I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
we to be very aware and trying to catch these deals really quickly. But I think I'm pretty comfortable saying CryptoPunks is going to survive at its price. Bored Ape Yacht Club might go down a little bit, but even at its lowest, it's not going to be something cheap, and it's definitely going to rebound, to even greater heights. Not like the stock market and what happened with the dot-com bubble in 2000. And then I think a lot of smaller projects, the ones that are based solely off of hype, that are based solely off of flippers, projects where everyone's in it just to flip, the projects where everyone's in it to make money. I think those ones that are sitting on the line are definitely going to,
Mm-hmm.
fall off the cliff. With the bear market, I think the only thing holding them up right now is this huge movement in NFTs where everyone
Yeah.
just wants to buy it, whatever's out there. But I'm pretty comfortable saying that there will be a few projects like CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Be Friends, that at the end of the
Yeah.
day will still be pretty valuable and will only increase in value afterwards. What about you?
Definitely the smaller ones that are just increasing by some hype and the huge NFT hype right now are definitely 100% going to fall. Well, I have to agree with you. Those the bigger ones with the higher market cap are going to stay a little less volatile and are going to stay pretty relatively high. And my plan, because I'm gonna do so much research, I'm gonna try to get in on literally everything
Mm-hmm.
during the bear market because that's the best time. Everyone
It
loses
is.
hope during
Yep.
the bear market. Just like there's a old quote where it
It's a clearance
says,
aisle.
"Buy." It's called "Buy when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own." So essentially, that's just saying when everyone's scared, when everyone's like that, even if you are the victim of that, you still have to try to
Yeah.
see what's happening and do all that. So if like something potentially dips down to super low, I'm definitely gonna get in. Like if there's a board ape that somehow probably not gonna happen in like never, but probably if it like dips down to like $500, I would get it. I would
Definitely.
100% get it.
Yeah.
But most likely it's not gonna happen. But because this podcast is gonna be just so popular when the bear market hits, because when the bear market happens, the smart people always look for the information that they can speak for.
Yeah.
Just one final thing before we might want to end this. I want to just talk about digital scarcity moving from real life to the metaverse. So, one thing that inspired this is like there's this news report, and this is what it says on it. The metaverse is no joke, as someone just paid 650,000 for a digital yacht
Yeah.
NFT,
Yeah.
which this is the biggest. This is I looked up the average cost of a yacht, and it's 500,000 to 10 million. That means this yacht is just is a they spent more money than the floor price of a yacht in the digital world, which just means that more and more people are seeing that the metaverse is becoming a little less of just something that's gonna like a passing fad. It's becoming more and more because maybe one person like buys something for 1 million. Well, it's just one person, but more and more people are investing like millions into the metaverse. Like just like what Mallory said in the beginning, is this going to be a passing fad? Is what she said for the NFTs in the beginning. And essentially, with all these people investing money, most likely it's not going to be a passing fad.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin and the blockchain introduced this whole concept of digital scarcity. For as long as the world has been or humans have been around in the world, we've always had a vast amount of resources. We've had like a lot of gold, a lot of lumber, all that stuff. And these things are super relevant and they have a very high supply. like when it's often used. Like, have you ever played? I don't think. Have you ever played Warcraft, Ben?
No, but versions of the game.
Nice. All right. So in Warcraft, they have their sort of commodities, and a commodity is like it's a basic good used in a business that is interchangeable, like lumber, oil, gold, silver. So in Warcraft, you can mine gold, lumber, and farms food for your community to grow. But these things are in such high supply that they're pretty affordable, and even with inflation they're still relatively affordable because they have such high supply. Basic supply and demand says that if there's a lower supply, the demand will be higher and vice versa.
Yeah.
So this means that the price will go up. When COVID hit, the government started printing a lot of money and the value of dollars started going down because there's
Yeah.
more supply. More supply means less demand, vice versa. So here's the point I want to make. When you create a way to have digital scarcity online, just like how Decentraland or the Sandbox does it, there's just like this 1,000 by 1,000 grid, and you can only buy inside that grid. You can't like make it endless. It's not an endless grid.
Right.
That's why the scarcity. That's why some YouTubers, influencers are spending hundreds of thousands just for a big plot of land to put their icon on it. And you can create things of value at a very very low cost. Like I bet when they were creating those crypto punks, they probably didn't expect it to be as valuable as they are today.
Yeah, definitely.
They probably spent like a fraction of the money creating those as it is worth today. So and when things are scarce, people will people will pay a lot to own them. Just like CryptoPunks, there's only 10,000 of them, which
Yep.
a normal person would look at it like, oh, it's
That's a lot.
10,000. That's a
Yeah.
lot of money. Or not a lot of money, a lot of things. Or like the same with the Matrix, 100,000, there's enough for everyone. But in reality, there was like a chaos in
300,000
the
people.
Discord server. Like
Yeah.
everyone was like, dude, I want like three, but I'm not going to be able to get even one. And it just shows you how much demand can really be. Because in reality, there's like hundreds of millions of dollars in the world,
Yeah.
but in this, there's only like 100,000 NFTs. And have you ever heard about like Naval Ravikant before, Ben?
No.
All right, so he's like a really cool guy. He gives like a lot of good advice. He has awesome podcasts, and there's a quote by him. It says, "Those who believe in old money will eventually lose their money to those who understand what the future money will be." Another way of
Right.
saying that is like if you believe what money was yesterday, you are going to lose that money to the ones that know what it is tomorrow. Which essentially means the person that is looking at money at what it was 100 years ago is going to lose their money to the people adapting, the people growing, the people building upon this new ecosystem of money. And the world is changing, and with crypto it's going to change even faster. And we're letting go of the old things maybe our parents wanted. Maybe they wanted us to have like a degree or stuff and all that stuff, and definitely I want to be a doctor. But there's other ways to make money now. Like people can make enough
Yeah.
money for the rest of their life by buying one lucky NFT.
Yep.
It's crazy to think about that because that usually wasn't a thing before.
Oh yeah.
Because like I could have like maybe like back in the 1900s, I could have wanted a Gucci sweater. But now with like the NFTs, everyone wants a Bored Ape hoodie because why? I don't really care
Yeah.
about the brand Gucci, but I care a lot about the
Oh
brand
yeah.
Bored Ape. That's why
Yeah.
I literally spent like $50 on this hoodie. And that really just relates to the value is what a person gives to it, which is why a
Right.
lot of people always say, why do you buy these NFTs? It's such a dumb thing or all that stuff. But NFTs aren't the picture itself is not particularly valuable. It's the value someone
Yep.
allocates to it. It's the
The
value
ownership.
someone
Yep.
believes is valuable as that. And every day somebody creates a new type of money. When 2009, when Satoshi Nakamoto made Bitcoin, he just invented a new form of money. When Vitalik in 2015 invented Ethereum, he invented a new form of money. Every single day people are deciding what is valuable, and that is why whenever you're thinking about something, if you want to be successful in the days to come, always remember that quote: if you believe if you believe what money was yesterday, you will lose it to those who know what it
Yeah,
is tomorrow. And
great
that's
quote.
just like a really awesome quote, which is just so simple, but there's so much ideas into it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's
It's
that's all I wanted to say.
that's a great quote. Just always be looking towards where the money is next. I want to touch on a few things
Mhm.
before we end up. First, another quote that I really live by is be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others
Yes.
are greedy. That's why now when I'm doing my flipping of crypto, I have like I honestly I sold it at 1.95, and it was like it was 30 00 32, so it was 12:32 a.m. in the morning when this happened.
Hmm.
And so I had that set up a
Yeah.
long time ago to sell at that point. If I held on to it, I would have
Yeah.
made you know $40 $50 more if I held on to it
Hmm.
until. I wanted to do that to make sure that I wouldn't get greedy uh when or to make sure I wouldn't get greedy and then lose everything, to make sure that I have these
Mm.
preset boundaries. And there's also a really important thing to look at in life overall.
Yeah.
Right now we are in an NFT environment where
Yeah.
a lot of people are, not to offend anyone, but a little bit greedy. Like it's a
Yeah.
heavily large environment about making money, NFT as a way to make money. And of course, everything, I guess you could say, you can make money from. You can make money from garage selling, anything like that. But I think right now there's a huge culture of the price of NFTs, and the idea of the culture behind NFTs is kind of a secondary part of it. And so I would really advise everyone, not a financial advisor, but just always be fearful when others are greedy. But then when everyone else is fearful of this huge bear market, that's the time to be greedy and buy everything up, not when everyone is hyping things up right now. And of course, there are a few projects that are the exemption. I hope the Matrix is, but always keep that
Yeah.
in mind. And let's go back to 2001. This was before both of us were born. But in 2001, with the dot-com boom, a lot of blue chip
Yeah.
stocks like Amazon, Apple, they all kind of dipped to really low prices. Amazon in the dollars, Facebook in the dollars.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, those companies eventually got back to where they were. A lot of people, though, experienced that time as kids or as teenagers or as 20 year olds, 30 year olds, and they took that experience and then went on to found internet companies 10 years later. Do you think we're going to see something similar if we do have a bear market next year after that, and a lot of people fail? And do you think there will be a group of people, that not affiliated, but a group of individuals who experience that, come up with ideas, and in 2030, launch a huge NFT thing? Or at that point, is it going to be
Yeah.
too late?
So yeah, totally, definitely. This is just it's so early still. These NFTs, like we both probably heard of NFTs early 2021. We haven't probably
Yeah.
heard about it before, and it just shows if you just look at the past from 2017 to now, you just see. Have you seen like a trend of like CEOs of companies stepping down? Like how
Yeah.
Jack Dorsey recently
Yep.
stepped down from Twitter, the CEO of Disney, CEO of Microsoft stepped down, and on this quote, like a ton of CEOs are stepping down. Even I see Elon Musk tweeting, hey guys, should I sell $1 billion worth of my stock? He literally makes a
Yep.
poll. If you take someone like a businessman from the like 1900s, they would be like, what the heck are you doing,
Yeah.
man? They're like, that's so dumb. But in reality, they're seeing what money is going to be tomorrow. That's what they're seeing. These are some of the smartest people on earth. Like
Right.
if you want to see where money's going, look at the richest person in the world. Look at what they're doing because they have already done it. So Bezos, Elon Musk are selling their own stock. What's going on? These are signs that this is the top. This is the top. This is how high it's gonna be, and they're believing that stocks aren't gonna. There aren't the new money. They're money of the old. Stocks were invented hundreds of years ago, and they know what's happening out there. They know that people are ravenous. They want NFTs. Everyone wants that. And when
Yep.
people are so greedy, they're going to be succumb to their greed. Just like a good example is like I love the Lord of the Rings, as you already know. The dwarves, one of their traits was they were so greedy that the king of the dwarves became so greedy that he ended up living his entire life mining for gold, building up his gold supply until his entire mine was overcome by a dragon. And then he got snapped back to reality and ended up dying to his protection to the gold. And this just shows because Jack Dorsey, he left Twitter like what
Yep.
5 days ago, and he's a huge part of the Bitcoin community.
Oh yeah,
So next time, I think this would be a good time to end it off. Next time, let's discuss what that would mean for the whole
definitely.
Twitter, what Bitcoin community. What would you like to say for the baby steps this episode, Ben?
Baby steps. Let's see. I would really advise people, and I'm sure the majority of you guys have done this already at some point out of curiosity. I would say go on OpenSea and just like look at some of the projects, like take the top
Yeah,
100 projects, and over the next week, and this is really fun by the way, and just like go look at them, number 1 to number 100, and just look at the art, look at the utility, look at which ones do you like the most, which one do you think, have
yeah,
you seen one of them walking around in the streets? I think that's a really cool baby step, is to lead with curiosity and go to the OpenSea rankings and just take a look at a few projects, see what makes them different, see which ones you like, which ones you dislike, why, and just explore. Just let yourself
yeah,
go on a computer for a few minutes and explore where it takes you, and,
yeah.
and just be curious and see what it leads you. What about you, Kamea?
My baby steps would be like what our guest does, what our guest said today, to ask questions and do what they say, like follow people on Twitter that you like, see what they're doing, look at all the new trends, see what you think, where you think
Yep.
this is going to go in the future, ask questions, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CryptoCoinKid1 and at Benjamin Wong. His Twitter is Benjamin J Wong and official Benjamin Wong on
Yep.
Instagram. I'm just CryptoCoinKid on Instagram, and we're still kids. Like sometimes I forget that I'm just 12 years old and I'm still relatively young to the crypto market, and it just shows our guest, she's the exact same age as me and she's already trying to make her own NFTs.
Yep.
You should do that no matter how old you are, no matter if you're 30 years old or if you're 10 years old. Try to give that spark of curiosity, because a lot of the things we're trying to do for this podcast, we just want to inspire and spark curiosity into you guys to try to have this
Oh
drive
yeah.
into learning more,
Yep.
because that's really all you need. Once you get that spark of curiosity, you can do whatever you want. You can, once you have the drive to learn, you can learn literally anything. And since we're only kids, we are honest and transparent. We're not biased. We aren't sponsored or anything. We aren't biased to anything, and we're still not sponsored, but it's gonna be an answered. It's gonna not sponsored yet. That's what I have to say. Not sponsored yet, but it's gonna be super fun. We just want to put some skin in the game. We want to be known as early people in the NFT and the crypto market. I already got some credibility. Ben already has credibility because he's like a young entrepreneur. He started like 6 years ago, and we want to welcome all you. Welcome to this crazy journey with us, and it's gonna be a long ride, but it's gonna be a good one.
I think that's a perfect way to end this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of our crypto talk. And I hope you just learn a lot from the talk with Mallory we had. If you're interested in coming on the show, feel free to DM us or tweet us, and we'd love to have you answer a few of your questions to all you kids out there. And I hope you just take all this and go be
Mhm.
curious. And I hope that what we're saying, if it confuses you a little bit, I hope you go have the curiosity to go and research it more. And it's so fun.
Yeah.
Just I do it myself, and I'm bored going OpenSea and just look at some Bored Ape Yacht Clubs I'll never be
Hmm.
able to afford for a while. um, but I think it just lead with curiosity. I think that's a really hidden secret to success in this entire crypto world, is just to be so insanely curious that you browse and that you research so much that one day you might come across one thing, one project, one coin,
Yeah.
one metaverse that will change your life. Thanks so much for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week.